Hello, it is Heather for Liberty Librarian. How y'all doing, guys? Hope you're having a great week. I got a haircut. I don't know if you saw that last week, but I've cut a few inches off. So how's that look? Yeah, it's a little wild. I just got back from work, so I'm like, blah. But I'm like, it get like this Superman wave, and I don't know how I do it, but it's all right. I think I like it a little messier anyway. So hope you're having a great week. I am loving it. I just noticed that there's a guy mowing his lawn, so there's actually grass to be mowed. It's warm enough for that, and it is kind of like a nice day. I have a window open. I fed the cats. They're all like super happy. So hopefully we don't have a lot of Rory being a face hugger today, but there's no promises, right? So what's going on, Heather? Well, we're in the last couple weeks of the semester at my college, and it is like crazy pants getting down to the end of the wire, but I think it's going pretty good. We had a couple students in today, and it was nice. I am getting ready for like a couple fun things that are coming up. I'm trying to like get back on the wagon for diet, but not right now because I'm having a beer. And I also grabbed some chocolate. I've been doing that chalk zero stuff upside down and like the dark chocolate. And so I just get a little piece of chocolate and it's been pretty good. So I've been trying to stay a little healthier, but I think after this next week, I'm going to be back on the diet wagon. So we'll talk about that at a later time because I have like a plan. And I'm thinking, it worked really well last time, but it's only in like bits and pieces that you can do hardcore dieting for a while and not lose your total sanity. Because I love eating. I love food. I love beer. So I might do it like for a few weeks and then take a break and then go back to it. But, do my best. Do my best. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about hackers. Now, hackers don't always, last week I had my credit card hacked and I had to get a new credit card sent to me and it's kind of been crap. I haven't, they're supposed to get sent me a new one and it hasn't come yet. So I'm kind of bummed. It happens. I had like a student worker at my work had the same thing happen not too long ago. So how many of you have had hackers kind of mess with your life in some way? And usually you think of hackers and you think badness. So I found a couple things where hackers have done some good. So I wanted to talk a little bit about that today. And we have intellectual freedom news. And, just an aside, I'm obsessed. I found a new show on Netflix, Shadow and Bone. And it's based on a book. So if you're since this is Liberty Librarian, I can talk about books too. Kind of a fantasy series with magic and a little bit of war and deep history and a little romance and weirdness. And I am on the last couple episodes. I've been binging it all week, and I'm probably gonna, after I get done with the show, finish up a couple things and then probably watch the rest of it tonight because I am so into it. My favorite is that Ben Barnes character, that General Kurgan. Oh my gosh, he's so cute. And just you can is he bad? Is he good? Is he bad? Is he good? And that kind of thing. So it's amazing. So if you're looking for something new to watch, try Shadow and Bone on Netflix. I thought it was going to be more teenager, but it's definitely more adult. And there's some kind of fun, risque, weird stuff in it that I'm enjoying. And I think it's definitely an adult show, but it's got kind of that a little bit of cutesiness in the fantasy. So not really all that gross, but definitely beautiful. I can see, for those of you who cosplay, all the costumes that could come out of this show that will be at Dragon Con or wherever in the, how awesome would that be? Oh my gosh, Total Vagabonds. Hello from the beautiful Emerald Isles. I am well. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. Oh, and the big news is I don't know what's been happening. I've been having so many new people joining Liberty Librarian on the Facebook page. So now we're up to 700 fans. I'm like, what the heck? Where are you all coming from? This is awesome. Like, where you been? Thanks for joining. Thank you for, if you're checking out for the first time, I love getting to see you. And I'm going to eat on the air, which is a totally bad thing to do. I mean, I drink beer too. So look at this. This is what the Chalk Zero, it looks just like a regular chocolate. It's delicious, shiny. I get the 50% dark chocolate, which is not that dark, but really good with red wine too. I'm drinking it with beer, or drinking beer and eating it. So, I put it in the fridge so it gets a little crunchier. I like it not too melty. Do you put stuff in the fridge? I do. I put I put chocolate bars in the fridge. I like it crunchy. I put Twinkies in the fridge because I don't like them too mushy. Texture is important. As I talk with my mouth full. Totally gross. Sorry. So chocolate. What do you think? Chocolate, yay or nay? What's nice about the Chalk Zero, I'm not even getting paid for it, but they use monk fruit to sweeten it instead of sugar. And it's sweeter than sugar. And it tastes just like a regular chocolate bar and less calories. If I look it up, maybe it'll tell me. It's so good too. So I'm trying to get my chocolate on, and you can go to the chalkzero.com website and they have like tons of stuff. Every holiday they make some really pretty special chocolate. So if you know somebody who's hardcore dieting and they love chocolate, this might be a good thing because it actually tastes good. And honestly, I have a little bit every week because I love it. The new thing they have, ooh, that looks good. They have a white chocolate orange peel keto bark. That looks amazing. But and they have the best chocolate syrup. Andy even agrees. He likes it better than the stuff that we normally had. But the 50% dark chocolate squares like I'm eating are only 40 calories for one square, which is really pretty decent. So if you need to get your chocolate fix on, definitely Chalk Zero. Yummy. I like it. I eat a lot of these. I suppose if you eat a whole bag, it's not really saving calories that much, but you're not going to get a big sugar rush. Yeah, I'm a darn libertarian. Hello, Martin. How you doing? I love chocolate, but you know, you try to be a little bit more reasonable. I get like all chunky and stuff if I eat too much chocolate, and I love pizza. I mean, I haven't found a good way of getting rid of all the carbs on pizza yet, but you know, I've tried like making the portobello mushroom pizzas and stuff, and you know, a little bit of that goes a long way, but you know, 20% of the time you gotta have all the fun. So I try to save that 20% like for beer or cocktails. Every now and then we try to have a pizza. I try not to go psycho on pizza, but pizza is good, right? And you know, if we can find stuff that it's like no calories and tastes delicious, that's awesome. But really, is it good for your brain to just eat nonstop and not have it have good nutritional value? I don't know, but I'm still like, I'm trying hard. So I'm trying to get ready. So like this summer, my friend Kara has like a pool at her house. Oh, I love you too. And like going swimming this summer and not looking like I'm getting to be a beach whale or anything. So working on it slow and steady, because I am, it's like, you know, of all the sins, like food and gluttony, that's my favorite one. It's my favorite vice. I know, like, whenever I get together with my friend Kara, we're like, where can we eat? What can we have to drink? Sounds fun. Have a good time. And, you know, you got to live life. And this whole freaking pandemic has shown me that, you know, you got to move forward, go through the darkness, get through the light. I weirdly had a huge conversation with a vendor who just called me today. And normally I don't want to talk to vendors that much, but today I did. And we talked about cats and dogs and just being positive and getting through the pandemic. And I think that positivity is what we need right now. We'll get there. We'll get there, right? So anyway, maybe it's the chocolate, and maybe it's the beer, but I'm looking forward to summer. I have already I've heard that there's gonna be more things open, and whatever you believe, I don't really care either way, vaccine or not. But for myself, I've had the first one, and the second one's coming next week, and I will feel like I can get out there and do whatever, and be good, right? But at the same time, I want to go see live music so bad. I want to go travel, that kind of thing. So, I just think sometimes they like to blame the darkness in the world on people, and they often like to say, oh, it's a shadowy behind the scenes, people are making things bad for everyone. But sometimes, and this I'm going to go full circle, sometimes the shadowy figures are actually doing good work, doing good deeds. So what I want to talk today is, first of all, Anonymous, right? They are a hacker group that likes to, they're called a terrorist by governments and big business because they seek out the rich, the out of control, powerful people that are doing no good and taking advantage of people and never getting caught because they're so rich and powerful. So Anonymous it's been kind of because the rich have the media in their pocket, and they no one's paying me, so I can say what I want. But what they're also doing is bringing to light things that they don't want people to see, and that is, my friends, I think is interesting. So 8 things, and I found an article that Anonymous, the hacker terrorist group, has done for good. So I'm going to talk about that for a minute. And they brought to light a lot of stuff. If you don't even know about them, let's say you've been living under a rock, and all you do is watch movies on Netflix. If you've seen V for Vendetta or Mr. Robot, these are shows that are inspired by things that groups like Anonymous have done. They go against people like kiddie porn sites to bring them down, and identifying Chinese military cyber attacks. So they're doing a lot of good white hat kind of hacking, and I think that's kind of interesting. So one of the examples, and here are the 8 examples I'm going to talk about. Let's see. Oop, I clicked on the wrong one. The first one, I'm going to shut the chocolate thing down, or I'm just going to keep getting hungrier and hungrier. The first one that they talked about was in December 2006. Anonymous took down the website of a white supremacist radio show host called Hal Turner. You guys may have heard of him. The attack ended up with Turner paying some very expensive bandwidth bills and dropping a lawsuit a year later. Another one that that Anonymous has done is in 2008 in January, they kicked off a Project Chanology. It's an attack on the Church of Scientology, which there's really great documentaries about some of the stuff that they've done, and they bring in the rich and powerful, especially celebrities. They love to bring people like that. And have you ever seen The Boys? This last season, they had the Aquaman type character. He got in with this Scientology type group, and they haven't really shown exactly what they're up to, but they set him up with a wife. So he would, they're changing his media persona so he's more positive and can get back with the main group of superheroes and that kind of thing. So it's everywhere. It's pervasive in society. So anyway, what they did with the Church of Scientology, they launched a denial of service attacks against the organization's websites, gamed the link sharing site Dig to more prominently display anti-Scientology pages, and even physically protested showing up in person to many church events. So on one hand, yay to them to going against such a powerful organization, but also, is it an appropriate use? I mean, you can decide for yourself. Another thing that they did was they released user information from a major hacking forum and February 2011. And a security firm called Mandiant was able to use this data to link the Chinese military to cyber attacks against the U.S. this year. So because of the stuff they've done, they've stopped Chinese cyber attacks against our country. That's cool. Let's see. Another one that they did was, you guys all heard of the Westboro Baptist Church. Whenever I go to Dragon Con, they're always there. I don't know why they always like to protest at sci-fi conventions, but they do. And every time when we're there, we always kind of like look at them because they're always wearing terrible stuff against gay people, and they hate divorce. And they have signs that say, "You're going to hell." And I'm like, cool, yay, that sounds fun. Let's go do that. But they don't like to. So they actually took down their website in February 2011 in protest of what they do. Things that I don't like about Westboro, the Baptist church there, is they have protested soldiers that were being buried, at their funerals. Who does that? I mean, even if you don't like something someone does, leave their freaking funeral alone. It's for their families and friends. It's not for you to make a statement. Ever, 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 ever. Don't do it. I mean, like, even if you think it's Hitler, like, it's probably not Hitler. So leave them the hell alone. Leave the funerals alone. That's all. I love that they went against child pornography. That's one of my things I like. You don't hurt kids, you don't hurt animals. I mean, anybody who's innocent, you leave them the hell alone. Operation Darknet was the group's campaign against child pornography in 2011. They, because pornographers were incredibly effective at using technology to hide themselves, they used technology to put them out of business. So they worked really hard to stop the pedophiles from making money. And I thought that was kind of good. Hit them where it hurts, right? And, usually you hear about hackers hurting businesses and they're like, they're terrible. They're hurting businesses. And there's just like, that's one of the few businesses where I'm like, yeah, I'm kind of happy to see them hurt. That's pretty good. So another one was in August of 2012. In Uganda, the country's laws were increasingly intolerant of LGBT issues, and Anonymous defaced 2 Ugandan government websites in protest. Good for them. And you remember the Steubenville rape case, and they had images of the high school victim were thrown everywhere on social media. Obviously got a lot of attention earlier in the year. And Anonymous released incriminating video, tweets, and emails belonging to the accused players on the school's football team. So it kind of changed the direction of public opinion on the case. And I think that's interesting. And last, for Anonymous, they began Operation Free Korea. It's the group's effort to get controversial leader Kim Jong-un to resign, install free democracy. He's not going to resign, but install free democracy, abandon nuclear ambition, and grant uncensored internet access to its citizens. On April 3rd, Anonymous released 15,000 usernames and passwords for the government web services and threatened to wipe its data. So they're going hardcore on Korea. We'll see. I think they would be more useful if they also helped like Hong Kong. I mean, I'm just saying, Anonymous, if you're probably listening, help Hong Kong, okay? That would be awesome. So like a lot of people, petty thieves, I don't like that shit. That's terrible. I get it. But like, hey, Tim. Hi, Tim. What's up? Talking about the devious. And sometimes they do good. And I think if you're going to have evil powers, use them for some good. You can use like your evil powers for some self-benefit. I'm like, I've turned my cheek on that. But if you're really that good, do some good with it. Stop the bad guys. Do that. Why the hell not? Do it. So that I thought was cool. Here is the other thing. This like floored me. This is another hack. And I hope I got the right article because it's It disappeared. And I'm thinking it's because McDonald's is very powerful. McDonald's has, okay, how many of you, we'll start a little story. Let's say it's a summer day, hot. You're like thirsty. You're like, dude, I want an ice cream shake. Doesn't that sound good? Oh my God. So you go, you're like, McDonald's, there's McDonald's right there. And there's one everywhere, right? So you're just like, okay, I'm going to go to McDonald's and go get like an ice cream shake. And you get in the drive-thru. It's a long time because, you know, during the pandemic, nobody goes to regular restaurants. They all go to the drive-thru and you're waiting in line and it's a pain in the ass, but you're like, this ice cream is so worth it. And you get up there at the little order thing and you just go, okay, chocolate shake. And they go, oh, I'm so sorry, ma'am. They always go that. So sorry, ma'am. But the ice cream machine is broken. Like, what? And let me tell you, when it's broken, it's gone for like at least a week. And it's broken all the time. And I started to wonder, why is that? Why is a McDonald's ice cream shake machine, whatever, always freaking broken? And there's a reason. I did research on Wired, and it was on a few other websites, but they keep getting taken down. Wired's just big enough that they're not taking it down. McDonald's ice cream machines are part of this weird bunch of, like, it's like a company that they buy this one kind of machine from. And I think they have like a contract with them because all of the little McDonald's all around the country get the same ice cream machine. So the machine is called a Taylor C602, I think. It's a digital ice cream machine. And these things are not cheap. They're about $18,000 for one ice cream machine. Yes, wrap your brain around that. $18,000. They have computers in them, and they are the most secretive ice cream machine that exists today. Now, if you ever worked at a McDonald's, there's a lot of programming that go into it, and you have to fill it a certain way because it gets gummed up badly and whatnot. But they have a cone icon in it, and you tap the buttons, and it shows a snowflake and a milkshake, and you set the digits on the screen to 5, then 2, then 3, and 1. That precise series of no fewer than 16 button presses, a menu magically unlocks. And there's a cheat code to it, they said, that you can access the machine's vital signs. Now, people don't know this because they make it so the people who work at the McDonald's can't fix it themselves, is what I'm saying. They have to call the helpline. They have to get a technician to come in. And it costs thousands of dollars every time you have the technician come in. The service contract is huge money. So no one at McDonald's or the Taylor ice cream machine company will say that there's a secret undisclosed menu. And there's a cryptic text messages that they received earlier this year. Across the country, in the U.S., the menu isn't documented in the owner's manual for the Taylor digital ice cream machines. There's standard equipment in over 13,000 McDonald's restaurants across the country. And this opaque user unfriendliness is far from the only problems with the machine. It gained a reputation for being fickle and fragile. Like you put just a little bit too much of one ingredient in there and it gums it up. They're very delicate machines. So there's actually an app now, and this is one of the things I saw. It's called Broken McDonald's Ice Cream Machine. And if you search on Twitter for it, you get all these people like crying out about it. But there's an app where they're tracking which ones are broken. So if you need ice cream, you want your ice cream fixed, you can at least look locally and see which one you can go to, which is mental. So how can a restaurant buy an $18,000 machine and not tell, like the companies, not tell the people who own the machines how it works? Why is it a secret? And that is the big question. Taylor maintains a network of approved distributors that charge franchises thousands of dollars a year for pricey maintenance contracts, with technicians on call to come and tap that secret passcode into devices sitting on their counters. So the article had said, just so I'll say it again in case it disappears, 5, 2, 3, 1. And then there's a whole bunch of other button presses, and then it unlocks. So look that up. If you like, if you're an owner of a McDonald's, this helps greatly. And that secret passcode can be enough to just show like the diagnostics program that's in it. So that way people could figure out like what's wrong. This goes beyond like a right to repair issue. It represents a milkshake shakedown. So McDonald's is one of the biggest countries in the country, and franchises is like the big company is selling these franchises a complicated and fragile machine. There are cheaper machines that can make ice cream that don't even need electronic computers to tell what's going on. They like the computers in it so they can track the usage and they can control if it works or not. I mean, think about that. Like if you are in the business of actually selling a service contract, wouldn't it make sense to not let people figure out how to use it? I mean, even people who own printers, like they know how to unjam it themselves, because like it takes forever to sometimes get a service person to come out to your place of business. So this is the monarchy taking over and saying you can have this, but you can't learn how to use it. And that kind of bothered me. So 2 years ago, two people, 34-year-old O'Sullivan. What is his first name? I'm trying to remember his name. Was it Nick? I can't remember. And partner, 33-year-old Melissa Nelson. Oh, began selling a gadget about the size of a small paperback book. It's real small. And they call it the Kitsch. And install it inside this Taylor ice cream machine and connect it to your Wi-Fi. And it essentially hacks the hostile dairy intrusion appliance and offers access to forbidden secrets. It sounds awesome. I'm just like, I want the forbidden ice cream secrets. So it acts as a surveillance bug inside the machine, intercepting and eavesdropping on the communication between the components, sending them a far friendlier user interface than the one Taylor intended. So sometimes it's something as easy as like an employee is adding the wrong amount of something, and you could just easily fix that, clean it out, and then start it up again, and you were fine. You didn't need to have somebody come in for that. The device displays the machine's hidden internal data, but logs over time and even suggests troubleshooting solutions, like through their web or an app. So hackers made this app to help McDonald's like franchises around the country. And there are many of them that are actually buying this, but I've seen interviews where people wouldn't identify themselves and they said they used it and it was great, but they didn't want the big McDonald's to know because, you know, they'll come down on it. But the result, once McDonald's and Taylor became aware of Critch's early success, it'd been a 2-year-long Cold War. So McDonald's was at war with the hackers, and one that is now only turning hot. So you'll start hearing about it now. I actually, after I read this earlier in the week, I saw that it's been mentioned on a couple of different blogs that I follow, and that is really interesting to me. Critch's creators believe that Taylor hired private detectives to obtain their devices. So they did like their own little raids of places that they thought had the machines, and they would do like kind of reverse engineering to try to figure out who did it and how they're doing it. So Taylor recently unveiled its own competing internet-connected monitoring product. And McDonald's has gone so far to send emails to McDonald's franchisees warning them that Critch devices breach Taylor's machines, confidential information, and can even cause serious human injury. I don't know how that's going to happen with an ice cream machine, but that's kind of awesome. Okay, hold on one second. I'll check my stuff. Oh, yeah. They have to call Taylor. And it's a piece of shit. It's all club, and we're not in it. I know, we're not the rich. We're not the rich. And they want to keep us down. It's just it's the truth of it. And it's really heartbreaking to, especially like you think of, franchisees are usually smaller businesses. They're local people usually who want to, like, do good in their community. And they're being kind of shoved down with this contract that's making them do terrible, like milking them dry, or milkshaking them dry. Yeah. So anyway, here, where did I see it? Oh my God. I went to the wrong thing, but that's kind of interesting too. I just found a different article. I clicked on another thing. I'm like, ooh, that looks good too. It's bad when I find stuff while I'm on the air. I shouldn't probably do that. But okay. So after watching the efforts of McDonald's and Taylor to decimate the businesses over 5 months since those emails, this has blown up like over the last 6 months. It's gotten huge. O'Sullivan and his co-founder are now on the counterattack. The Critch couple tells Wired they're planning to file a lawsuit against some McDonald's franchises who they believe are colluding with Taylor by handing over the Critch devices to the ice cream machine giant, allowing them to be reverse engineered, a violation of the franchise's agreement with Critch, which is funny too. Taylor denies obtaining Critch devices, but they don't deny trying to gain possession of one, or that a Taylor distributor did ultimately access it. So it's a war. They're going to war against each other, which I think is kind of awesome. What I hope ultimately happens is that it comes to be that these unreasonable service contracts will be the target of any lawsuit, and that will be the final victim, not the franchises, not the hackers. The hackers will probably have to get more legitimate, but it shows that there is a legitimate need for people to do reverse engineering and to hack things and hack into systems to stop wrongdoing. And that is where my brain went this week. So there's going to be a messy legal battle. But I thought, like, who hasn't wanted an ice cream and have like this kind of stuff happen? This is like a vast conspiracy. And McDonald's, you think, oh, they're nice. They're my neighborhood little burger joint. They do some nasty shit too. So why do they have hidden menus? What is the purpose of it? They say that the standard Taylor digital ice cream machine in a McDonald's kitchen is like an Italian sports car. All the franchisees will talk about it, and it's very expensive, highly engineered components. And the machine's performance is a smooth display of efficiency and power. But there are cheaper ice cream machines, and there are ones that do a very good job for far less money. But this one is supposed to be a no-brainer, and it pulls tiny sheets off the frozen mixture off the surface of the barrel with cold metal and scraper blades. It's supposed to have the tiniest little ice crystals, and they talk about how it's perfection. And I've had a lot of ice cream in my life, just saying, and I'm not going to say McDonald's is the best by far, but they do some things right. And they talk about that there's 2 hoppers and 2 barrels, and they're working independently, and it's pretty amazing. It uses a pump, and it's an expensive machine. And of course, if it's that expensive, I would hope it was pretty damn good ice cream, right? But it's not the best. And why is it so expensive? It's the electronics, really. So they're temperamental, just like an Italian car. They're fragile, ridiculously over-engineered, which means the more crap you have in a machine, the more likely it's going to go wrong. So if something is 100%, it will cause the machine to fail. Whereas you might have something that's simpler, more sturdy, and you could throw in like a rock and it'll probably go, oh, poop, but it keeps running. Honestly, like, you kind of want a more simple system that lasts. So anyway, it's an ongoing problem. And the way they talk about it, oh, slow down. I went too far. They sell a machine whose technical demands to businesses will be run by teenagers, not scientists, not engineers, not somebody who's a food technician who may appreciate the high quality of the machine. It's for 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds, you know, who are working one of their first jobs, and people who are like, you know, in a hurry. When you're in a fast food kitchen, you don't have time to sit around and go, oh, the machine is kind of slow or having problems today. No, you got to go, go, go. And if it doesn't work, you turn it off and you put a sign on it and say, nope, it's not working. So it's kind of crazy. And it reminds me of some other situations, like John Deere had a problem with this, where they, in their, you know, old tractors used to be, you just turn them on and ran them. Nowadays, they're like little computer centers. So the John Deere tractors had a problem where they made efforts to prevent farmers from accessing their own tractor software. And Apple made it so people can limit who can fix an iPhone. You know, like if you crack your window, you have to send it in, or your phone is broken, iPhone, you got to mail it in. You can't just go, oh, I need a new battery on my phone, like pop it out, put a new one in, like put in a new screen. You know, I think that we're getting to be, the service contract is the goal of companies, not a good product. They like to say it is, but the service contract, the data they can get on you. And I mean, like, if you can tie it to like a machine and go, oh, the ice cream that they like is this, and this is the time of day that they made it, and we can know everything about like what they're eating. How, you know, how often are they eating it? If we had a little bit more sugar, do people come back and eat a little bit more ice cream? Or, you know, what can we do to make it cheaper but good enough that people still like it? You know, so it's all about the data. It's all about the service contracts, that they can keep the money coming. Because you sell something once, that's great. But if you can keep selling it to them and, like, you know, upsell things, that's where the money is. And that's the problem, is like, we don't really want to have a world where we have to keep selling and buying and selling and buying. It's just bonkers. So anyway, it's ongoing, and people are really getting excited about it because, you know, none of us like the thought of a big giant company that's making it so you can't have your freaking ice cream because they're effing with the local franchises. And I think it's got to end. And there's this huge story in Wired. They talk about how this husband and wife team like got together and they reverse like engineer the ice cream machine. And they talk about moving to San Francisco and doing a startup. And, you know, they did a Frobot prototype, and they, you know, they can make some money. But the thing that actually made them money was selling a hacked, reverse engineered machine that would help franchises figure out what's wrong with their fucking ice cream machines. Like, how easy is this? So think about that when you're thinking about your own skills in business and what they need. And when you see something like, why is this? This makes no sense. This is where I think hackers actually have use. Like, they can come in and figure out the problem and work around it. So anyway, yeah, this whole article, it's got a huge history of this couple and how they got to this point. They talk about the little Frobot eavesdropping on the Taylor ice cream machine's data and building features that allow visibility info and control of the machine's variables. They can bypass the code to the service menu. They can do troubleshooting. I love it. I just love it. So this is called the Critch, in a sign of the grandeur of their ambitions. They chose a name that suggests an idea of an entire connected kitchen, leaving open the possibility of products that went well beyond Taylor's ice cream machines. So the ultimate goal, I think, of this company was to find ways to hack all sorts of electronic kitchen equipment and make it better. Why not? Why not? So the other side of the coin is McDonald's doesn't like it. They don't, Taylor, it's their business model. They don't want people to go into it and fix things and change it and do whatever. But The one franchisee who asked that Wired not identify him for fear of retribution from McDonald's told them that the ice cream machine at one of their restaurants had been down practically every week due to mysterious failure during its pasteurization cycle. He looked at the assembly of the machine again and again, no avail. He installed the Critch, which I think they said it's a $250 activation fee, and they found it was an overeager employee was putting too much mix into one of the machine's hoppers. Today, the franchisee wakes up every morning at 5:30, picks up his phone, confirms that all the machines have passed their treacherous heat treatment. Another franchisee's technician told them that despite Critch's nearly doubling its prices over the past 2 years and adding an additional $250 activation fee, it still saves franchisees easily thousands of dollars a month on a freaking ice cream machine. How crazy is that? So McDonald's, McD Truth confides that Critch still rarely manages to prevent ice cream machines from totally breaking, but without Critch, restaurants' harried staff don't even notify owners 9 out of 10 times when the machine is down. So now at the very least, they get an email alert with a diagnosis of the problem, because usually high schoolers are like, well, it's not working. We'll just put a sign on it and not say anything. So they can't fix it. So it's a luxury. They like the service of that. So what can you get from that? Is it good to hack? Probably not. Eventually, you're probably going to get sued. And big companies like McDonald's, especially for someone who's out and about, they know who they are. They're going to have a lawsuit. Eventually, you might lose. But you could show the world that there's a problem that needs to be fixed, and you have the talent to do it. How far in the public sector you want to get, that's another thing. But McDonald's is going to put an end to Critch. And it's an internet control machine, and they don't want that. But I'm not saying that it isn't a good idea, because obviously people need it. And people want ice cream. And I think what they need to do is maybe make it so things are a little bit more user-friendly and you have access. So that is what's going on with McDonald's. If you've ever had the problem like I have of people constantly having small businesses suffer at the hands of huge corporate conglomerates, know that sometimes hackers actually help the little guy. And I thought that was kind of amazing. So today, my theme is tipping my hat to the good guy hackers of the world. Please do more good. Stop the bad guys. Stop people from stealing our credit cards. The little people. Like, be like Robin Hood. Don't be like the thug in the street that's rolling people, you know? Please don't. So on that note, I'm going to do a little bit of intellectual freedom news. I talk a lot today. Oh my God. Okay. So the thing I wanted to talk about, I got home and I closed my windows, so that kind of made it a little tougher. Where was the cybersecurity one that I wanted? Federal agencies are secretly buying consumer data. That's one of them. This was in the Brennan Center for Justice, which I love these legal sites that bring up federal deviance and the naughtiness that they do. So they're buying your consumer data, didn't you know? The practice undermines civil rights and circumvents the Constitution's privacy protections. This was in the Brennan Center for Justice. Sorry. God, my allergies are killing me. And this is from April 16th by Laura Hecht Falala. So the Treasury Department's Inspector General recently issued a report warning that the IRS purchase of GPS location data may be unconstitutional in light of a landmark 2018 Supreme Court decision requiring a warrant for historical cell phone location data. This is really important right now, especially when I think about all the people that are protesting like police brutality and murder, and that it is being used against people who are protesting, because I've often felt like they are doing facial recognition scans. If you're going to protest and you're going to be somewhere, especially after hours when they have like lockdowns and whatnot, at least invest in getting a Faraday bag. That's a little bag that blocks cell phone signals. Put your stuff in there, or leave it at home. Get a burner phone if you need to call someone or contact anyone. But please think about your internet safety if you're going to be doing any of that. I appreciate all the work that you are doing, but I want you to be safe because they're looking for you. They are looking for you. So not only is the Treasury Department doing it, the IRS, the FBI, Homeland Security, Department of Defense, they've all been caught secretly purchasing cell phone location information as well as other sensitive consumer data. It's time to stop this practice, which violates the Fourth Amendment. So the case that they said that this aims at is the United States versus Carpenter, and it's supposed to place obstacles in the way of too permeating police surveillance, which we don't want. The court has held that the police need a warrant to obtain historical cell site location information, not just buy it, not just illegally gather it and then use it and go, in case you might do a criminal thing. No, they need to believe that you actually are going to do something that's of danger to society, not that, we kind of think that maybe these young people today might be protesting, so we're going to get this information just in case. It's bullshit. Our privacy depends on this. Federal agencies have argued the decision applies only to the specific type of location data, and they have taken to purchasing access to commercial databases containing location information that can be used to track specific individuals. So the Treasury Department's Inspector General recognized the ruling has broader implications when it comes to recalibrating. When they use that word, it means we're going to fuck with the Fourth Amendment protections for the digital age till it suits us. This is because the court's holding was premised on the understanding that technologies like cell phones are indispensable for participation in modern society. Do you know many people who don't have a cell phone? A lot of people do. Technologies convey sensitive and revealing data without any affirmative action on the part of the user. You can listen in on people. You can see them through the camera. A lot of people don't ever turn their stuff off. They'll use the fingerprint and the facial recognition on it. It's so open. And once those tools are in place, the government can just swoop in and use it and identify you and figure out who you are. And if they think you go against anything that they say, they can target you for it. So they need to look at this, and you need to be aware of this. So they're buying data rather than obtaining it pursuant to a subpoena, a warrant. So they're circumventing the law because they're like, well, we didn't have to get a warrant because we just bought it, bitches. Like, God damn it. They're sneaky. The requirement that police obtain a warrant from a judge before conducting a search or seizure. So the police are just buying it. They don't have to. They don't have to ask you for it. They don't have to do anything sneaky. They just bought it. So it is incongruous for federal agencies to take the position that there are few legal limitations on the purchase of location data. Congress has made it clear that procedural, legal safeguards are required even for the bulk collection of data. And this needs to keep happening. They should be getting a warrant to find out this private information about you. And they're using loopholes and existing privacy laws like the Stored Communications Act to go around it. So the government has the ability to buy sensitive information without judicial, legislative, or oversight. And it upends the time-honored balance of power between the people and the government. So it's getting lopsided way more than it ever has been. And in the absence of such oversight, federal agencies are using the purchased data to target vulnerable communities. So they're using leaked documents revealed that at least 2 branches of the DHS, Customs and Border Protection, and Immigration and Customs Enforcement bought cell phone location data. In addition, ICE has reportedly purchased utility data as well as information from private license plate reader databases. The agencies tracked migrant groups and targeted individuals for immigration enforcement using this information. It's bullshit. So the news reports also indicate that the FBI, Secret Service, and Department of Defense have acquired smartphone location data without warrant. defense contractors purchase location data from popular Muslim prayer and Quran apps and dating apps. They're using everything against you. If you have an app on your phone, they're probably buying the data from these companies, especially if it's a free company. Like, how do you think they make money? Selling your freaking data, kids. So, the use of purchased data to target religious groups and protesters emphasizes the critical importance of the Fourth Amendment in protecting against discriminatory policing practices. And it also underscores the chilling effect of unrestricted surveillance has on other civil liberties, including religious freedom and the right to dissent, which is going away fast. We need to fight for it. So, for example, some community leaders are actually urging Muslims to delete their prayer apps after reports of the data sales. You may want to look at apps that are vetted, that have high value on privacy, not selling your data. Make sure you look into it. Don't just get a free app because it's got some neat thing it does. Think about what it's using it for. So it's up to lawmakers and the public to push for legislation ending law enforcement's practice of purchasing consumer data. Proposals are being introduced at the federal and local level that would either ban government agencies from buying personal information from data brokers or limit the sale of cell phone location data. These are promising and necessary starts to close the loopholes in privacy laws. Doesn't that scare that shit out of you? It scares me, baby. Oh. And it goes back to what Tim says. Sorry, my nose is itchy. I'm sick. All the tree sex making me ill. But like what Tim said, it's all a club and we're not in it. The government is definitely targeting us in ways that we never even dreamed was possible before. But man, we are there. Let's see. I had one other one. Do we have time? Yeah, we got a couple minutes, right? Okay. So the other thing I wanted to talk about, where was that? I should never close anything. The Postal Service is running a covert operations program that monitors Americans' social media posts. Be aware of that. Understanding social media, the First Amendment, and calls to incite violence. That's on Forbes, but I'm not going to talk about that today. That's too long of an article, but it's interesting. State legislatures are eyeing regulating social media in the wake of the big tech censorship. State government should stay out of it. Minnesota governor, where I live, calls alleged assaults on journalists chilling. Good. You shouldn't assault journalists, but he kind of does in his own different way. Minnesota police promise not to detain or pepper spray journalists covering protests. If you watch Sweet Subversives, you can see Matt Kowalski, one of the journalists that has been covering. He's an independent. He covers it for news organizations all around the globe. And he got hit by a car at one of the protests. But they pepper spray the journalist. Most of the time, they leave him alone, but he said he got punched once, and it's not always the police aren't always nice to journalists because they see them as the enemy as well. And if you talk to Matt, you'd see that he mentions that he just wants to capture what's going on and to show what is happening and the importance of the event. And he isn't trying to show them as bad guys. They can do that for themselves. They can be bad guys if they start spraying the media. And you need to let the media cover it. You need to have open and honest, because once you stop free dissemination of information, then all bets are off. And then they are beyond the bad guys. So don't be the bad guys. Let them cover the news. And then open data can leave gaps for disinformation. This is the worry. I work in libraries, so everyone talks about disinformation. Is changing security risk management. International news. Watchdog upholds complaint over transphobic comments about J.K. Rowling. That's going around in the news. They talk about books being harmful to minors, which all new ideas and exciting ideas can be hurt minors, supposedly. So that's kind of the fun part of that. So I think on that note, there's a couple things I could keep talking about, but I don't think I have enough time to go in depth. There's a lot of good. Like I've said 1,000,000 times before, if you need more intellectual freedom news than I covered today, please go to the American Libraries Association Intellectual Freedom News blog. They have a huge amount of stories listed every week that are amazing and interesting that don't usually get major news coverage. And that's why I like to highlight at least a few of them every week, because they're really good. And once again, it is Thursday. Thank you all so much for joining me. Thank you for my new fans for the page. I love getting to talk to you every week. It's such a joy. We have so much fun. Love getting to hang out. We have the best time. I hope you have a great rest of the week. Cover your ass. Start looking for a Faraday bag if you don't already have one. Look at your apps on your phone. Why do you have them there? Are they tracking you? Start doing a little digging and figure out, is it worth having this stuff on your phone? Maybe it's a good idea to like lock it down a little bit. Think about your privacy. Think about taking care of yourself. And have a great week. I will see you soon. Next Thursday even. Jeez, we'll have a good time. So have a great week. Love you guys. Take care.